You can find us too on that local SuperTalk Mississippi radio station, but you can watch us if you would like. We're on your computer, your mobile device. Just head on over to SuperTalk TV. We've been talking to you all day about the CAS system. We are coming to you live from the University of Mississippi. It is a curriculum that provides students with a foundation for identifying and responding to child abuse. And now we get to talk to two students who just graduated from the University of Mississippi this past May, or have wrapped everything up here in July, so they are celebrating. Joining us is Ainsley Millard and Miss Emily Hitt. So welcome, ladies.
Hi. Hello.
Good to have you here. Okay, Miss Ainsley, I'm going to start with you. First, congratulations to you both for graduating. What a great accomplishment.
Thank you.
But let's talk about the CAS program. Where were you in your studies here at Ole Miss when you first heard about CAS, and then maybe why did you feel like that would be a good addition to what you wanted to do once you graduated?
So I was in my second semester on campus, I think, and I had a couple classes with Miss Digby, and I really liked her as a teacher, and so she was like, hey, we're kind of starting this new program, and do you want to, come to class and try it out? So I liked her a lot as a teacher, so I was like, yeah. So I really didn't know what to expect, and then got in there, and I fell in love. And then we had 2 more semesters of it after that first, and it really honestly kind of changed my entire view of what I wanted to do.
Well, that's cool, and I think that's one thing they hope with the CAS system is people get in, they get an opportunity to see it. You either know it's for you or it's not, so it's okay if you hadn't fallen in love with it, but you clicked with it, obviously, Ainsley, and you did too, Emily, to go through with it. What was kind of your story? What's your path to the CAS program?
It was just like Ainsley's, really. I heard about it, about my second semester through Miss Digby, and she was just discussing things that we would be doing in CAS, and I was like, yeah, I'm on board. I definitely want to do that. And kind of like what Ainsley said, it really pushed me into what I want to do and for my future in this career as a social worker.
You know, Ainsley, when you talk about, you loved it, it's like, well, it's a child abuse. This is a hard type, but, no. But what I hear you say, though, is that you probably love seeing where you could fit in and be helpful.
Yes.
And had you not had something like the tutorials or the case studies, do you feel like you would have not been real sure of what you were walking into, or maybe you wouldn't have even walked into it without having these sort of hands-on, more realistic kind of learning opportunities?
I really hadn't envisioned myself working with kids. I kind of always pictured working with adults and just kind of going from there. I didn't have an exact idea of what I was going to do. And then getting in and realizing how much kids actually go through, and I feel like not a lot of people really understand or recognize that there's a big issue, and so it is very important for us to learn as much as we can from these kind of courses, so that way we can be the change for the kids that need it.
Yes.
Emily, did you also have kids on the brain, or in terms of social work, or were you two a convert because of CAST?
I'm also after CAST, I also decided that I felt like I could see myself working with children, because originally, like her, I envisioned myself working with adults and people who struggle with mental health. But once I got into the CAST program, I realized just how much child abuse is going on. Even though it's a hard topic, it has to be talked about. So the CAST program really opens up and just helps us see just how bad these children need us.
And they do, and they need people who are qualified. One thing, Ainsley, I've learned over the last couple of guests here on Good Things talking about the CAST program is this idea of building a workforce. You kind of are a testament to that, right? I mean, it kind of changed the trajectory of your path. How much more confident do you feel now after having the CAST simulations or going through the CAST program, that now that you have graduated, but once you move on and start that first job, that you will be effective and helpful in the fight against child abuse?
Well, I just finished up interning at a child advocacy center, and so really I feel like going through the CAST program was very good in preparing me for what I was walking into when I went to the child advocacy center. And then I felt a lot more confident. I don't know if I would have had as much confidence going in as I did. It was kind of shocking to me.
Well,
really.
that's, when you hands-on learn, right? Like, instead of
Right.
just seeing a tutorial or someone trying to explain it to you,
Mhm.
it
It's
really
like
helps you, like, walk through it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like I kind of had the knowledge of like how the system kind of goes. Like, okay, a report comes in, and then this is what we all kind of need to do and work together to get justice for the kid.
Emily, even if you and Ainsley both have gone through the CAS program here at the University of Mississippi, and it's changed the trajectory of, like, your career, but what if, even if it hadn't, right? Like, even if you went through the CAS program, Emily, and you said, you know what, but I still feel this pull to older adults or this other direction, do you feel like you would have walked away with something that was still career changing and information and skills that could help you wherever you find yourself in a professional sense?
Definitely, because the CAS program really dives into like simulations, because that's what really the program is based off of, is real life simulations. When you take those simulations and you learn from them, and you
get to walk through them.
Yeah,
It's
you
like
get
a
to
hands-on
walk-
experience.
Yeah, definitely, and that really prepared us. I feel like it would prepare everyone for what social work is like. Just the different kinds and walks of life that you see, and just how important it is to see these facts and find a solution to get these children out of the homes that they're abused the most in.
Which you two are setting yourself up to sort of do. And it seems, what I appreciate about both is you have this enthusiasm and this passion for such a hard, topic, but that's what it kind of takes. And I think once you see it and you better understand it, but then also, Ainsley, would you agree, better understand where you can be helpful, gives you the passion to sort of go and do that? Because it feels, from those of us who haven't gone through the CAS program, for those of us who don't necessarily feel called to that type of work, it feels very overwhelming and like, how can I help? But do you feel very now prepared in like what your placement is, what your job is in terms of helping in this tough topic?
I do. And I really think that, like, not even social workers, but, like law enforcement and CPS, the court systems, like, I feel like everyone could benefit a lot from CAST, just so that way we can all work together and know what to recognize and all have the confidence and know, like, what our place is in the process.
I totally agree with that. That's one thing I'm learning is, Emily, we all have like a piece and a place to this. And it sounds like you'll have a very special teacher that had a place in sort of all of this that both of you mentioned. What
Yes.
class was your teacher that segued you into, or gatewayed you in, the gateway drug into the CAS program for you?
Honestly, I cannot remember the class
I think it was
specific.
policy.
Yes, but it was another one that Miss Digby was teaching for me that really set me into wanting to do CAS, but I cannot remember that course. But it was mainly the teacher.
Mm-hmm.
She wanted me to go into CAST, and at first I was iffy, just because, like I said originally, I always saw myself working with adults and mental health, so I was iffy about it at first. But she kind of gave me the rundown on like what to expect in CAST and what all it entails, and that really just pushed me to pursue it, and I'm very glad I did.
Well, both of you are going to be new to this profession, have long careers ahead of you. If you
Yes.
wind up making a turn and working with adults later, nobody's going to come back and be upset with you at all. And I think that's one thing we can feel like everything's, it's just getting a one-track mind or have blinders on. But I think what we've learning in terms of this idea of building a workforce around helping to reduce or eliminate child abuse, it's that this type of education, this type of program would go, like you mentioned, Ainsley,
Mm-hmm.
law enforcement. We heard about lawyers also getting it. So, Emily, if there's a student listening, or parents to students who are coming to any of the universities, specifically here, University of Mississippi, what would be your little pro, like, just give it a try, go for it, in terms of adding the CAS program to their to-do list?
I would definitely, I will always recommend CAST to everyone, including law enforcement and lawyers and nurses and everybody, really. I feel like CAST is something that everybody needs to take, but as students, it teaches you a lot, and it helps you learn.
All right, you ladies have learned a lot, and you've helped educate us on the potentials of CAS, so I appreciate your time, Ainsley, as well as Emily. Congratulations both on graduating.
Thank you.
Y'all have to come back next time and tell us how your careers are going. How's about that? Okay. She said I ain't coming back. But y'all come back. We got a little bit more good things for you coming up next.